Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Hope everybody's doing great out there.
I hope you're doing super great, and we're back.
We're back.
Yes.
Here we are back. And we're looking at the DoD, Department of Defense, top line. You can see the spending between 2001 and 2019. And as we see, when you look back at 2001, 316 billion, and it climbs 437, and in 2003, we could see after 9/11 happened, defense goes up, up, up. 666 in '08.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then we have a little bit of a coming down to a low of 560 in 2015. And then President Trump comes into office in 16, and we see up, up, up to 686. And last year, this is just for the DoD.
Just the DoD alone.
And here's another way of looking at things. This is from Macro Trends. This goes back to 1960. So you look back in 1960 and we see 45 billion and just the climb on up. Let's see, we go back to 1991, 280. And then we come over here. And this is 2001, right? Look at 2000. In 2001, 301, 312. And obviously we had 9/11 happen, and then whoosh, it goes flying up and doing a roller coaster. Well, when you look at where we are going, here we see, this is out of thebalance.com, the U.S. military, estimated U.S. military spending is $934 billion, which covers the period from October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021. $934 billion.
I don't think most people can actually comprehend how much money that is.
That is an enormous amount. $934 billion. Where's it going? Where is it going? And I'll have all these links. You can see the DoD releases fiscal year 2021 budget proposal. Where is it going? Well, is it going for secret programs? Is most of it going into stuff we never see?
Well, they can't really tell us about it. That's what it is.
So here we see out of Exo News. The question, did President Trump threaten aliens with military action?
Sorta.
You're going to look at that and you're going to say, what? Okay, well, who is Exo News? They might be nobody. And so we look at popular mechanics. Trump acknowledges UFOs and threatens aliens with military action.
Sorta.
Sorta. Yeah, he's got a stern look. He's pointing his finger. He means all business, doesn't he?
Yep, he sure does.
So very interesting to look at this. So earlier this week, Fox News anchor Maria Bartiromo, you say that.
I can't. I'm sorry. Where is it? Maria
Bartiromo.
Yes.
Bartiromo. That's not hard.
I knew you.
That's not hard, but sometimes he gets tongue twisted tied.
It's okay though.
So anyway, she asked President Trump about the Pentagon's new UFO task force. And President Trump promised to look into the government's UFO program, as if he never did before, you know? The president also answered with vague, somewhat threatening speech about the power of the U.S. military. So as we look at the article, we see President Trump, when asked about a new Pentagon task force for studying UFOs, replied he's going to look into it, and then began boasting about the power of the U.S. military. Some observers saw this as President Trump touting his funding of the Department of Defense, while others saw it as a threat to extraterrestrial beings. And so in an interview on Sunday, Fox News anchor Maria Bartiromo asked Trump, can you explain why the DoD has set up a UFO task force? Are there UFOs? Well, I'm going to have to check on that, President Trump replied. I mean, I've heard that. Yeah, there's rumors. I heard that 2 days ago. Just 2 days ago, I heard that, really. Like you never heard of Roswell, like you never heard of all the meetings with Eisenhower and the Greys, and never heard about Hitler and the Nordics. But he's going to check in on it. I'll take a good, strong look at that. He then went on to talk about the U.S. military. I will tell you this, we have now created a military the likes of which has never been seen before. In terms of equipment, the equipment we have, the weapons we have, and hope to God we never have to use it, but we created a military the likes of which nobody has, ever had. Russia, China, they're all envious of what we had. All built in the USA. We've rebuilt it all. $2.5 trillion. As far as the other question, I'll check on it. I heard about it 2 days ago, actually. There it goes again. In August, Pentagon established an official task force to investigate UFO sightings, following confirmed UFO sightings by U.S. Navy pilots between 2004 and 2014. The Pentagon's Unidentified Aerial Phenomena UAP Task Force will investigate sightings of UAPs, also known as UFOs. New terminology. It's the first official U.S. government program affiliated with UFO research since the 2000s era unit that analyzed unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, and other UAPs lost its funding in 2012, even though multiple sources confirmed with Popular Mechanics that the unit did remain active in secrecy after its shuttering. And we know there's so much they haven't told us, obviously. It's a shell game. So what exactly was Trump getting at in this interview? One interpretation is that Trump riffed on the possible threat of aliens to talk about how much he had done for the U.S. military. Indeed, the president has spent approximately $2.5 trillion on defense, although there's been no real increase in America's overall military strength and number of weapons. What? Huh? Are we talking about like $100,000 hammers and $2 million nails here? Or is money going into some programs and projects that we don't know about? The other possibility, this was Trump directly threatening aliens, or more likely, the foreign governments behind the UAPs that the Pentagon is investigating with military action. Well, if Russia and China has those things that we saw with the Navy videos that our own Navy officials, our own military officials say we can't even touch that technology, then we're in real big trouble. Theoretically, of course, we know it's all a shell game and all an illusion with the strings from the puppet masters heading on down. In August 2017, President Trump used similar wording to threaten North Korea, stating North Korea will be met with fire, fury, and frankly, power the likes of which the world has never seen before. If Trump did consider aliens a threat, that would likely explain the sudden rush to establish the Space Force, the newest U.S. military branch. It's not clear, though, why Trump would choose Fox News to threaten aliens with the power of the U.S. military. So could the Pentagon fend off a UFO attack? Seems very unlikely. Even America's most high-tech military hardware, including the F-22 Raptor fighter, USS Ford-class aircraft carriers, and the thousands of nuclear weapons that make up our strategic nuclear forces, would almost certainly be powerless against any technology advanced enough to travel between stars. Consider the progress in weapons made in mankind over the last 200 years. Military forces of the 1820s, complete with muskets, horses, and field guns, would stand no chance against the armed forces of the 2020s. Yeah, think about drones from the sky. Think about, DEWS's, laser-based weaponry and stuff. They wouldn't even see it coming. They would never see it coming. So obviously, that 200 years of tech. And then when we're talking about other civilizations that may be thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, or even millions of years ahead of us.
Yeah, and they've done this before, and I kind of have a feeling that we're getting help from some alien technology.
We sure are. That's obvious. Alien civilizations could easily be thousands or millions of years more advanced than mankind with weapons that might seem miraculous to us. The unfortunate truth is Earth is likely ripe for the taking by any alien race technologically advanced enough to travel here. While it's fun to speculate on wildly unrealistic scenarios, well, that's debatable. Here's the bigger debate. Is there really something here, or did President Trump answer two different questions, one of which was never really asked? If anyone on this planet knows the real truth about UFOs and extraterrestrials, it would be the President of the U.S. Well, there are a lot of classifications much higher than the President of the U.S. when it comes down to that.
Well, I also heard he had to be like 3.5 years into his term before he was briefed on it.
So, what else did he really reveal is the final question there. Is he setting up the stage for something that's to come? And maybe something that's to come, several years down the road even. Because I still put this out there, look at what we have politically. Look at the mess we have on the planet. Look at the way the planet's treated. Look at the lockdown on society and all. So are there benevolent beings that are running this planet, or do they show more malevolence towards life in general on this planet?
It's just going to sound weird to say, but it's our own individual, it's our choice. What do we want?
Yeah, well, we do co-create our reality, and then there is a consensus reality too. And we have talked about the possibility of a split in realities down the line as well. And of course, some will say, Project Bluebeam and put it all the way to demons and everything like along those lines. But I think that there's a lot more going on here. The reality of existing alliances with different species of beings, both 3D and perhaps beings that have the ability to move interdimensionally as well. So they may not always be here, but they can sometimes manifest, or they can influence or perhaps even occupy other human beings' physical bodies at times, i.e. kind of like a possession. Maybe this is what is being really kind of leaked behind the scenes. The fact that there are alliances with other beings. And perhaps, they're the beings that the Earth has been in alliance with might be faced with other beings from a different alliance in the near future.
It really could be. And it's so important right now to raise your own vibration. That's going to help with your immediate surroundings.
And if the darker forces are the ones that are in control of the planet and have been in control of the planet, is it possible that there's actually good forces that might be heading this way and going to help? Not that we should put our hopes in anyone liberating us but ourselves.
Well, I think that's what you need to do, is you need to take responsibility for yourself right now.
Yeah, because if we put our hopes out there that we're going to be saved, whether it's by any religious entity or by Pleiadians or Arcturians or Andromedans, then, we're not really going to be necessarily taking action ourselves. And, I think that's part of this shell game that's been going on. Get us to look off to the future, to a time when we will have somebody do all the work for us, as opposed to standing up, speaking up, and raising up our vibrations ourselves and actually trying to affect positive change ourselves, instead of putting off some hope for somebody to come and save us from our situation. So we have to do it one person at a time, one community at a time, one family at a time, and one town at a time, just constantly spreading outward, coming together with like-minded people.
Yeah, and it just keeps going back. It starts with you.
Starts with the individuals. It starts with people coming down and, working as a group. And, you have neighbors, and maybe your neighbor has a farm and you don't, but maybe you have skills, and, maybe you're a mechanic, something like that. You could fix things. Maybe you're a carpenter or what have you. And it's working together and forming partnerships and unions and getting outside of the system, which is a system of control.
Mm-hmm. Which is very, very important.
So fascinating to look at, as we have all sorts of soft disclosures going on and speeding up. We are in very interesting times.
Indeed, we are.
Super interesting times. And again, where's all that money going? Where is it going? So guys, thank you so much for your support on Patreon and also on Ko-Fi, because we couldn't do it without you guys in these times. As always, God bless and namaste.
Namaste.